the I'm a Fan Of podcast, music, comedy, and more.
Is it rude to ask for one of those beers? May I have one?
Absolutely. I was hoping you were going to be
Okay.
And I knew you were.
Thank you so much.
Woo!
Cheers.
Cheers.
Woo, woo, woo. Oh. Thank y'all so much for coming on the show.
Yeah.
You immediately asked me about the new record. But I'm sorry. Richard Haskins, Stephanie. I'm sorry. What was your last name again?
Holloway.
Holloway. And thank
Almost
you.
everybody in the band has an H last name.
Oh, okay. Well, Stephanie was the one who reached out and threw me the album in advance. So thank you so much. That thing is awesome. You were already asking me about it. You know, what do you think?
Haskin?
What do you think? Huh?
Were you asking for it?
I was asking for
you were
it.
asking about it.
And dude, it's incredible. Honestly, like I don't say it about a lot of albums. There's two bands, you guys and a band I like that's called Brave Little Howl. They're totally different genre.
They're from Denton, though.
They're kind of mixed all over.
Well,
hold on, pull that mic up when you're talking real close.
I actually, just little fact, I used to do the shipping I used to just ship their T-shirts out.
Oh, for real?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I never met him. I'd never seen him.
Pull that right.
I never met him or seen him.
Move
but like,
the stick over.
I never met him
There
or
you go.
seen him, but like, I used to do
they're great guys. I mean, y'all would y'all would probably be a really cool show together because it's so fucking different. You know how some of the old festival
What's
shows
crazy
are
is
so
a lot
wild?
of my friends go see that band.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean,
Yeah.
I assume they're fucking badass.
But I bring it up because their last album and then this album that you guys just put out, they're just complete. Does that make sense? Like from front to back, I never caught myself going, wanting to change something or wishing you guys had done something differently. From the writing, from the recording, I mean, everything is just exactly how it should be for that album. It's like you had the concept in your head, it's executed perfectly. No matter what you do from here on out, you can go, that album is exactly what it's supposed to be. That's how I feel about it anyway. Do you feel that way?
Dude, I just came in my pants. Thank you so much. I fucking love you, dude. Dude, I mean, like, we worked so hard on it, dude. We worked so hard. Like, it started with Robert Hokamp, who's on the, he produced the record.
He's the producer, and I saw he played one weird instrument. What was it? It was like a clarinet or something.
Do you
right?
mean everything?
Oh, he played all the stuff on there?
No,
Okay.
the cornet.
Not
That's
really.
what it was, yeah.
Not everything, but like me and him basically like wrote this record, and he just kept asking me to come over to his house. He was just like, I didn't know we were making a record. He was like, dude, do you want to write a song? Let's write a new Wee-Beasties song. So he asked me over, and we had one like 15 minutes, and then like we started on another one. And I was like, well, I guess I'll come back tomorrow.
You're good. I'm just checking this. Okay. I always get paranoid it's not recording. Go ahead.
It's great because Robert, actually was in the Wee-Beasties long before, and then moved out to.
We went to high school
LA.
together.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's Richard and Robert have gone back.
One of my
so
fondest
long.
memories is he looked like little fucking John Denver, dude. Like he had like a little blonde chili bowl and some glasses. And you're like, are you gonna sing songs about mountains? But the dude just fucking slayed, like on guitar, on trumpet, like on multiple instruments. And like we were just friends like the whole time. And then it was cool like to just sit down and write. So this is my first endeavor where I've like written with somebody else.
Oh, really? So the rest of the time, well, catch me up on Wee-Beasties anyway, because I'm a little foggy. What I will say
Samesies.
What I will say, I was really digging deep over the last week, trying to remember when was the first time I heard of Wee-Beasties, and I'm almost positive it would have been around like maybe 2002, 2003. I used to work at a skate park in Plano called Eisenberg's. Do you remember that place?
Yes.
Okay. Well, there was a guy that I used to work with. I think his name was Jeremy. He was like skinny as a rail.
We were booked there 3 times and never got to play there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like something happened like every fucking time.
Well, at that time, I remember this guy was like, if I wanted to hear kind of obscure punk rock music, he was the guy who would throw it to me. He would tell me about bands from Houston, like 30 Foot Fall, and like very like obscure, like local bands and other scenes. And then he was like,
Poor Dumb Bastards. That's a great old school
Poor Dumb
band from
Bastards.
Houston.
But
Yeah.
he threw y'all's name out. So I feel like that was the first time I heard of Wee-Beasties. But I don't
Okay,
know if y'all
so
had anything
you-
recorded back
You actually
then.
might be confused on something about
Okay.
this. Okay, so here's the deal. When we were like leaving high school, because I started this band when I was in high school. It's a 21-year-old band. When we were leaving high school, we found out that there was another band in Houston called the Wee-Beasties, and our manager at the time sent them a cease and desist.
Okay.
And then so they like stopped being. Well, anyways, later in life, I fall in love with this band called A Giant Dog.
Yeah.
And I love a giant. They're from Austin. You know, if you've
Y'all
heard
just
them,
played with them, right?
They're fucking amazing. Yes, and like it was weird because when I bumped into their guitarist who writes like a lot of their shit, you know, I was like, man, you guys are badass, you know. But he knew my name like already. I was like, how the fuck do you know who I am? And he was like, I used to be in a band when I was 16 called the Wee-Beasties in Houston, and your manager said it's a cease and desist.
That's awesome.
And I was like, oh my God, no, like, no, like, I was like, no, I'm so sorry.
It's nice to meet you.
Yeah. Anyways, your band's awesome. Yeah, just like fucking wrapping them up, you know, it was awesome.
So when did North Texas Wee-Beasties start?
We started in December of 2000.
I'm going to say I probably was hearing about your band then, because this guy was up around Denton, and that's where you guys are from, right?
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
I think
yeah.
it would have been your band. So then y'all put out an album in 2011. Was that the first one?
We started as a 3-piece. And we put out like a fucking cassette tape, which I've still never found.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have one, but I don't know any of our shit. I just handed out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So like, but yeah, like we started like in 2000. We recorded a bunch of shit as a 3-piece, and then fucking Robert Hokamp, his brother Chris, joined the band on trumpet because I wanted to have some horns in it. I just wanted to be louder than everybody else, and then we just fucking kept adding people.
That's awesome.
So it's just been like
Yeah, so I saw there was the 2011 album, then there was a 7-inch, and then
Brave Combo.
And then now is the
7-inch had Brave Combo on, and also Greg Ginn from Black Flag plays on our side. I tricked him into doing it sort of because I was working at MediaTek and we were teaching like this class, and then I just kind of like was like, hey, come help me teach this class, and then like there were kids there though, and they learned stuff from it, but like that's how I got him to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Why?
then he played on the...
He played on the 7-inch. Yeah, he played on... well, Kill Them has like really like those 4 songs from a separate session.
Why the big gap from one album to the other? It's like 10 years, right?
I got drunk a lot, and I had a lot of depression, and then I tried to rob a bank, and then I like went to prison.
You tried to rob a bank? No way. Are you fucking with me right now?
Yeah, dude. And
how do you try to rob a bank in the 2000s? That seems like you know you're going to get caught, right?
Yeah. What the smartest idea, if that's what you're asking?
Well, hold on. Run me through, if you don't mind anyway, you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to, but if you don't mind, like run me through the scenario of what got you to the point of saying, I need to rob this bank. Like what was going on in your life?
I was fucking super depressed.
And it was like the year.
And I like...
So was it just an excitement thing, or was it I need money?
But you guys
or
I wanted
both?
the cops to shoot me.
Oh, so you're trying to do like, you guys will kill me.
I mean, I'm not proud of it, but you know.
Oh, wow. What was going on that got you in that kind of depression?
Dude, everything. It was crazy. Like,
you had done Warped Tour?
Yeah, I mean, we, like the band was doing really well at the time
was
too,
amazing.
and like I just, you know, it just like wasn't. I don't know. I really
the whole
don't.
life.
There was just a lot of stuff. I mean, like,
were you? Was it something that came on quick and heavy, or was it like a long, like a couple of years or a couple months?
kind of like, you know, like when they talk about like boiling a fucking frog and like you just slowly
Like,
turn
how
the
do
heat
you
up,
cook a
you know,
frog?
like.
Did you have depression longer before?
Yeah,
Yeah, kind of
like,
always.
as a child, I remember it. Yeah, I had a lot of that stuff. It's weird, like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also hard to like go and play in front of like tens of thousands of people and then come back into a lifestyle where you're kind of not appreciated but maybe appreciated, but you don't really know. I mean,
Well,
at that
once you
time,
walk off that stage, it's not the audience anymore. It's just you.
it's just
know
you.
what I mean?
And at that time, Richard, in 2011, I mean, you were like still a baby. You
Oh,
know?
yeah.
I mean,
But
all
I'd
of
been
this
married
is
and
so
divorced, had a
new.
child. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was.
Also
yeah.
Wow.
new.
So at that time, you'd already been married, divorced. You're getting these highs and lows of performing these massive shows, but then kind of feeling alone and depressed afterwards.
Oh yeah.
Some musicians sweet dance.
So yeah.
Well, you got to walk me through
Okay.
the bank robbery, though.
So
You,
I'll tell you just as plain as fucking day.
yeah.
I sat in my car and I cried for a while because I had $8 in my bank account and I was just like it wasn't just that I was depressed, I was also desperate too. It was like all these things, like not one thing was going right in my life. And like I was like, well, if I can get the cops to shoot me. And you know what? I wrote a terrible, mean note and then gave it to him, you know. And
Like you did the slide it across the table to
no,
the teller?
I went through the fucking drive-through, like in the goddamn, like, I didn't want anybody to shoot me, like, but I still wanted to. It's so weird, like the way.
It's weird because you want it to happen, but you don't want it to happen.
I didn't want anybody else to get hurt too. You know what I mean? Like, and I felt like if I, you know.
So you put a note like through the thing that goes through the tunnel, like the little.
Yeah, and then.
Do you remember what it said?
Just something. It didn't even threaten them really too much. It was just like, oh, give me all this money, or I'm going to come inside. You know, like.
Yeah.
And I figured that was enough. And I remember the teller being like, "Oh, yeah, are you serious?" Like, yeah, fuck yeah, you know.
Yeah, because there's like a window and everything between y'all. So she's like, "Is this a joke?"
You know what, man? I started hearing them cop sirens come, dude, and I got scared. My heart was just completely racing, you know, and I tore off crying. Called my dad. Told my dad like. I hadn't talked to my dad in years. Told my dad what I'd done. He was like, "Boy, hide your car, and I'll be there in an hour." It was like the first time my whole life I thought my dad like gave a fuck about me. You know, I was like, "Fuck yeah, dude."
He said, "Hide the car."
Hide the car, boy.
Yeah.
I'll come pick you up in an hour, and so I did. And he came and picked me up, drove me up to fucking Oklahoma.
Where do you hide the car at?
Behind my sister's trailer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me that ain't some Texas shit.
Oh my gosh!
They'll never find it.
I took it to a relative's house. They won't look here.
Never suspect.
They shoot at trespassers out there. You know, like.
Oh my God! So you parked it there, and then you said, "I'm going to go up to Oklahoma."
My dad.
That's where your dad was.
My dad drove me. Well, he lived like right on the border.
Yeah.
And like drove us up there. And was like, "Boy, you know, maybe they might not even know it was you." And then like 20 minutes later, my mom starts lighting up his fucking phone because we got to have cops like fucking beat her door down.
Yeah.
and he was like, they haven't talked to like way longer than like I had the time. He was like, "Boy, your mom has never called me." He was like, they know it's you. And I was like, "So what the fuck are we gonna do?" So my dad went and bought some fucking beer, and he was like, "Well, we're gonna sit here and hang out and drink beers and just chill, and then hopefully the cops won't kick the fucking door down, and then tomorrow we'll go turn you in, and hopefully they go easy on you." And I got to hang out with my dad and drink beer with him and stay up all fucking night and just talk and just being dudes. And you know what, dude, like, I look back and I think about that shit. I'd fucking rob that bank all fucking over again just to get that fucking shit, dude, because like that was the only time we ever got to do that. You know?
Isn't that crazy? It takes something like that for
Yeah,
you to
dude,
realize
I mean,
somebody
it
still
is, dude,
cares.
it is.
Totally
Like in that moment, you realized, oh, he does care about me.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
It was fucking nuts, dude. I mean,
Totally.
she was there for me like super hardcore when he passed away like last year, you know? Like, Stephanie has been, we're, you know, talking about shit, but man, like, Stephanie's like been like a fucking huge rock in my life. I don't think that we would even be a band if it weren't for her, because I remember like a few years ago, like me and Tomo, you know, it was like kind of like Last of the Desperados, like fucking riding, you know, like shit, you know, we gotta find some.
Robert was still in California.
Robert-
Push that closer to y'all's mouths.
Robert was still in California, and
Yeah.
like, so I'm burping, I'm drinking beer.
It's okay.
Dude, no matter how many fucking sliders I eat, I always taste that 7-Eleven fucking taquito taco. Yeah, but like, where's it going?
Oh my gosh, you were talking about we were talking about your friend
No,
Tomo.
like, yeah, like
Dude, like we were talking about hanging it up, man. And like, Stephanie was like the one who kind of came in and was like, "Well, your fucking problem is you haven't been fucking organized, you know?" And just got us like organized, and like we got Paul in, then we got Trent. I stole all my fucking bandmates.
everyone.
I
that
saw
we
Paul
have,
playing
we've
bass for this
stolen.
band called Electric Vengeance. They were like I don't know.
Christian.
Paul was the best thing
rock
about that.
band.
Paul was the best thing about that band, and I poured beer in his mouth while they were playing. I was like, "If I could steal you, playing bass for me." Trent, same shit. I was like, yeah. I know you used to be a hit of the Cox.
What is it now? A 10-piece?
Yeah, 10.
10-piece, man. I love looking at those pictures of you guys all together.
We're nuts, dude.
Well, it's like you know how it is. You started as a 3-piece, and it's like to get a group of minds together to create music, to play shows, just to even have a similar schedule is so fucking difficult. And then when you do get them together and it starts to click, I mean, it really is just a moment in time where it's like you got to cherish it because you don't know how long you'll be able to keep that momentum running of just the everybody getting along, everybody being able to do it.
Well,
It's not
incredible.
unlike being a baseball coach because you're like, man, that motherfucker's badass at this. You know, you should be the fucking shortstop. Shit, he can do that. Like,
Yeah.
you should be that goddamn first baseman.
But also,
you know what I
maybe
mean?
we
It's
should
like
trade
identifying
the
talent.
pitcher for another. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
You
this
have
pitcher's
to
not
be
working. We got to,
open
yeah, exactly.
to
So
be- that shortstop actually
you're trying to get your
should
fucking team together. You
be
know,
different.
I mean, that's really all it is. And as long as like you
So for
have a good plan, people follow you.
I think y'all nailed it right now, man. I was trying to think about the little things that drew me into that album, you know, and I usually hate making comparisons like you sound like this, you sound like that, right? But I was just trying to, like, and don't take this the wrong way, but I've never, like, if I found a band that was like, we play party music, right?
Yeah.
Normally I'm like,
Yeah, I know, right?
here we go, right? And, you know, so whenever I listen to the album, it's like the first little intro, 45-second thing or whatever. I was like, I'm one of those people where I'm like, I'm going to listen to it front to back. I'm going to give it a shot no matter what. But at first I'm like, let's see where we go on this ride, you know? But then by the time we got into the second song, I was sold. I was like, oh, no, this is for real. And I think what I realized,
Fuck me, dude. Like,
it's
Jesus.
a 28-second, or what is it? Like,
I don't know, but I think what it was is my first initial thought, I don't know if you're going to take offense to this or not, was it reminded me of the album, not necessarily the whole album, but like NoFX had the War on Errorism, right? But that
I
first,
get you,
but
yeah.
that first song is a separation of church and skate, right?
Yeah.
Where they're talking about how like everything is just so soft and cushy in punk rock music now, and everybody's just such a like drink your fucking milk and go to your show with your padded things, right? And it gave me those vibes of like, you know, your whole thing is just like, you're not fucking tough enough to party with us, right? It's like, you know, and I was like, okay. And it felt more earnest, like, no, I believe this guy goes out and we'll get fucked up and we'll drink you under the table if you want him to. You know what I
no
mean?
shit. I mean-
Whereas a lot of people are like, I get fucked up, man. It's like, nah, I don't think you really do.
I
And
don't
then-
believe you.
Yeah, and then as the album kept going on, I was like, you know what? Now I'm starting to get a little more like maybe Lars Fredriksson vibe. There's like that honesty with him. You know what I mean?
Dude, I grasp completely like what you're saying.
Yeah, and then of course it has
makes a lot
the
of sense.
Wee-Beasties touch all over it. Yeah, it was really fun. You know, it's like because I was thinking about punk rock music and kind of where it's gone, right? And it's hard not to sound like the old guy and be like, punk rock's just not that good anymore.
No, it's not. I mean,
But I think there's a element of
The-
real, authentic danger that is missing, right? Like it used to be people who had problems and like it was like if they weren't going to be in punk rock, they would have ended up being like broke ass blues musicians or something, right? Like or country musicians that are telling their down on their luck stories, right? That was punk rock was like those versions, but it was just better music.
yeah.
And I feel like who writes that way nowadays? You know? Can you
Well-
think of any new bands where you're like, that's a killer fucking punk band? It's difficult. Either that or they're just not able to kind of make it out into the, you know, into the ether where we can actually hear them at least.
There's still some really fucking rad punk bands out there. Like, don't get me wrong. Sorry, is it?
Faya.
Oh, Faya, for
Faya?
God's sakes. Jesus Christ.
FEA,
Yeah.
is that what it is? Fea?
Yeah.
Dude, from San Antonio.
Okay.
Chicana punk rock band, dude. They're fucking unreal.
Well, what do you think keeps them from, because you know those Warped Tour days where it's like, it was huge. Like you could learn about these bands. And now I feel like it's so hard to find that music.
Well, that's because everything got, like, you remember how we used to be, like, in the fucking dark ages? Like, we're, like, and in a weird way, like, that was kind of cool because, like, when I was fucking young, when I was, like, find out about a punk band, in order to hear them, I would have to, like, order a record through a magazine and, like, order it from fucking England. And it would take,
Actively
like, 2
seek.
months to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time you got it, you've already got money and time invested in it. So even if you didn't like it on the first spin, you would still listen to it. You know, and so like, because sometimes, man, like the first spin like doesn't work. I mean, sometimes it fucking kills.
Mm-hmm.
Black Flag, My War was like that for me. So was Misfits, Earth AD.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those like bands, like earlier bands, you know, it's like that's cool. But like nowadays, like everything is so fucking, dude. I mean, like. Anything that you want to hear
Mhm.
is like
It exists.
just available like immediately, you know? Like,
Yeah. It made me think of those old compilations, you know.
Yes, dude.
You get a CD that would have, 40 bands on it. And you could just go through and that
Like,
one's amazing. And then you go
Survival of the Fattest or some shit like
oh
that. Yeah,
my God.
for sure.
Do you remember the, I don't know how popular it was. I've got this one CD that I'll never get rid of, but it was short music for short people.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that one?
Yeah, it's Fat Records still,
Yeah,
too.
yeah. But it was like 101 songs that were all, I think it was 10 seconds or less or 30 seconds or less.
You can only have 99 tracks on a CD.
Okay, so it was 99 bands
Yeah.
then. Yeah.
But you can also only fit slightly under 80 minutes, so some of them were shorter.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was somewhere between 10 and 30-second songs.
Yeah.
And it was just like, man, what a cool fucking idea. Like, you're never going to put any of those out on a record. It's just a fun, I don't know.
Dude, that's awesome. Dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I love shit like that.
Yeah. I'm wondering what keeps that type of stuff from happening now.
I've been trying to talk to a few bands about maybe doing a series of splits, I love splits so much, but then also to the idea of selling them as a set,
Yeah.
you're 10 fucking rad bands and
Vinyl's making such a huge comeback,
Speaking of vinyl,
It's time to. I already saw on y'all's page there's vinyl. I'm waiting to order mine.
Yes.
it's already available.
Do it now.
Well, I'm waiting to get paid to order one.
Shit, I wish we'd brought you one, man. We totally could have brought you one.
No. I would love to pay for vinyl because I know how expensive vinyl is.
Vinyl's expensive, guys.
Yeah.
Buy it, the Wee-Beasties.com.
You can sell all those vinyls and you're not going to make any money. It's just to sell the vinyls.
Dude, yeah, I know. I mean, but just to have the fucking thing,
Yeah.
To see it in person.
Well, and I picture that vinyl too. Like I said, it's a great party record, through and through. So I picture that one being how many records could you go to a place where people are hanging out, having a good time, and throw on a record and just let it play side to side? And this is really perfect for that. If you're having a rowdy Friday night.
Thank you so fucking much, dude. You get it, man. It's a concept album.
Yeah.
But about party.
Yeah, well, I think what helped me get it was since you gave me the advanced copy, it was all on one file, so there's no skipping songs.
You're just I did not want you to be able to do that. I wanted you to.
I
you
think,
have to be.
Yeah,
able to,
and it's so easy on Bandcamp, Spotify, whatever. Just go next.
Yeah.
But it really was fun listening it front to back, because there was even one part when I was listening to it where I was like, hold on, did they give me the wrong fucking file or something? When it got to
Shred Season.
Yeah. And I was like, and then once I got it, I was like, oh my God,
that's
what the perfect.
That's our drum.
That is the
little
sweetest
breakdown.
song. That
Isn't
is
it so
it's
beautiful?
so
that is the
great.
sweetest song I've ever.
Cute.
Me and I started it out. I remember writing it over at Steph's place, and then Bobby fucking helped me finish it. But it's the nicest song I've ever written.
For people who don't know,
But I don't even get to sing it. Our drummer, Trent, sings it. So I don't even get to sing
And
it.
he kills it.
It's his Ringo track. Oh my God, we just wrote another one for the next record. We're halfway done with this next record, dude.
well, for those who haven't listened yet, it's you get maybe 20 minutes of just, or no, it's probably 15 minutes of nonstop, just in your face, rock and roll, punk rock, party music, and then all of a sudden we go to a Pokey Lafarge, jazzy, but you're listening to the lyrics and you're like, all right, I'm sold on this.
The trumpet
I'm not going to ruin it. Y'all go listen to the song.
Our trumpet player that does the lead on that particular song is Johnny Weir, and he's a fucking amazing.
Fucking genius,
oh my
dude.
God.
Yeah.
And he's will and always be, he's amazing, but also the greatest blind trumpet player you will ever hear. And so when he did that, he actually put a plunger thing on the end of his. That's what gives it that old time that
muffled.
Yeah.
I listen to it so much, even when they're not there, I can hear the horns.
Yeah.
Dude.
But yeah, it's beautiful. That
I think
song is beautiful.
I like it all, but the song I told you I was listening to it again this morning, and sorry, I'm still not good with the track list on it yet. But the song I keep going back to, I was listening today driving home, and I did an audible fuck yes, and I had a big smile. I'm by myself in my car, and it was It's Happening Tonight.
Yes.
When you know what's so strange is there's so many different styles on this record that are blended in together.
Yeah.
And you guys did it so well because it's all in really brief parts, right? So in that song, when you get kind of towards the middle and there's just this shredding guitar breakdown,
That's Robert Hokamp,
back
dude. That's
in-
what I'm talking about.
I
dude.
know, but it was done so well because, again, that's a genre of music. It's like, I don't really like shredding guitar players. But it was done so briefly and so well and then got right back into the song. I was like, what
Dude,
the fuck was that?
So we were-
Our
I
band knows how-
loved it. I loved it.
We know how to tastefully shred. Like you know,
Yeah.
like you don't want to like shred somebody's face.
Well,
you
no,
know, like-
seriously. Like, once I listened to the record, probably
we were out at the ranch whenever we wrote that song.
Yeah.
Like it was like this.
There's
hey,
actually
let's get
several
together.
writers on it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Paul
let's get together.
Paul did a
and,
line like did a line.
What's twice times my lady?
So yeah, but yeah, it was. I mean, it was.
Yeah, it was so organic.
The whole thing
how
was
that whole
just.
thing-
It was just fun.
Well, I can
because-
tell you got a lot of really good players, but they all know how to hold it back when
Yeah.
they know, like, hey, we're making a song here. We're not
Well, it's
just
hard-
showing
you know,
off.
There's 10 people.
Yeah, and I'm
Like,
sure everybody
there's
wants to get their part in.
There's
But
well, I mean, everyone already
We're part of
knows,
the
like,
team, man.
Yeah, it's
part
like
of the crew.
I can't do
part
what
of the
Richard
brotherhood.
does. We can't do what Robert does. No one can do what Trent does. I mean, no one can do it. Yeah, it's a family. You
what's
know?
your favorite song on this one? I know it's like choosing your favorite kid, but you got to play it. Were you playing those songs live before you
Shotgunning
recorded?
beers in the parking lot,
Okay.
just because, like, for a couple reasons. Like, number
Yeah.
one, like, you're shotgunning beers in the parking lot. Like, dude, that if that's not a goddamn like tailgating party
American anthem.
tell me what's you know what I mean? Like,
Prove me wrong.
So then, but then also like, just writing it. Like, me and Robert were in the studio, and we did 4 hours, like trying to write and like do some kind of demo. And it got to the point where like we had like 30 fucking minutes left.
Mhm.
And we still hadn't fucking written a goddamn thing, dude. And so I just texted Paul. I was like, dude, send me some lyrics. And he just sent me like this like 8-bar thing, and one of them was like shotgunning beers in the parking lot. And I was like, motherfucker, and just started banging the chords, and like it was written like in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just so much fun, and like having everybody just yelling on it too, because like I love it when like our whole band and the whole audience like scream like shotgunning beers, you know, like that's fucking sick, dude. That's,
Again, that's those classic punk rock vibes where you feel like you're part of a group.
Well,
you
it's
know,
like-
you're not just out there on your own. You're part of a little community that's
I
thinking
grew
the
up
same.
feeling alone and like separated and like different, and punk rock was my fucking tribe, dude.
Yeah.
I was a punk rocker. I'm not alone anymore. There's other punk rockers. You know, that's what it was
Yeah.
like.
I think that's what I
Do you
did.
need another beer?
Not yet. I probably don't drink as fast as you. You know, I grew up loving punk rock, right? And I grew up in this little small Texas town. You're totally different than everyone, but you don't really know what's different about you, right?
What town?
What town?
Do you know where like Nevada or Copeville, Farmersville?
Farmersville? You talking about like way out on 380?
Yes, way.
So past
out there.
like fucking
By, like,
Princeton and all
Throckmorton?
that?
Yeah.
Past, God damn, you're way the fuck out
Yeah,
there.
and so you know
Shit.
you're hearing like,
Nothing.
well, luckily I had like two good friends, and then back then they had like magazines and stuff coming out, so you could kind of get like, you could go through a grocery store and your parents wouldn't buy the magazine for you, but you could flip through real quick and be like, I have to try to check this out, and then you still had like a CD warehouse or something where you could go and like flip
yeah.
through a section and like listen to something when nobody's looking and see if you can buy something
Like
illegal.
finding music back in the day was like a game of Myst. Like,
Yeah.
you like, had, like
It really was.
Like,
And like you
you
would
gotta find this key. I'd like this thing.
And will they allow this or not? Who knows?
Oh, well, you know, and you always worry, like, are my parents going to find this shit? You know,
yeah, no,
because it's not like a
Of
digital
course they are.
copy, right? Back then, they could just snap your fucking CD. You know, you can't
yeah.
you can't snap a digital track now if your parents find you
Yeah.
listening to it. But you know, you started realizing, like, man, I feel like I think a lot more differently than these people I'm surrounded by. But you just don't know what it is, right? You just don't know.
Yeah.
You're like, am I weird? Am I different?
It's freedom.
Yeah. Well, then all of a sudden, it's like you start getting some of this punk rock music, and you're like, oh, there are people that think like this. There are people that feel this way. You know, and then you start going to shows, and you're like, fuck, man, this is bigger than I ever imagined. And I think that's what I dislike about some of the. It's a weird way to say it, because I don't want to say I dislike equality or anything, but right now I feel like people get on these big soapboxes about like treat everybody equal, where back then it was like, why the fuck wouldn't we treat everybody equal? You're in this punk rock scene, everybody, I don't care who you are, if you're hearing this music, we're all equals, you know. And it was just like a
It's
given.
us against them.
Yeah. And I feel
Us against
I
them.
feel like I want
Yeah.
some more of that, like, you know, like
And-
why the fuck would we judge this person?
raw.
It's
The
all
whole fight of
welcoming
us
here.
against them is
Yeah.
like we should all be us.
Yeah, it's raw.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
You know?
Yeah, and
It's like gay pride, you know, like you wrote
Oh
that
my God,
song when
yeah,
you were
there's a
17 years old.
Was that on the first album?
On the first, on Kill Them, there's a song on there that I wrote when I was 17. And like, I wrote it, we got asked to play a gay pride thing in at the TWU campus, Texas Women's University in Denton, Texas. And a lot of bands had backed out. Like, and we were in a high school band, but like a lot of like the known bands, because it was like still at that time, like
Yeah.
you know,
Texas has always
like-
been slow
Yeah,
for
like, you
change.
can't-
Mhm.
Like,
when we got asked, we were like, "Fuck yeah, can we bring our friends?" You know what I mean? Like that was our
What you
fucking.
were-
You know, I was like a fucking junior in high school. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So like it was like fuck yeah.
Yeah, because in those times it was like, why wouldn't I? Of course I would.
No fucking show. I decided to write a song about it, and it was like about how I thought that it was fucked up that like the government or anybody else, no matter who they are, like had a fucking say in like your goddamn.
Yeah. It's weird too, because I would have thought we'd be so far past all this by now. And we're still having the same fucking conversations
But he
20
wrote
years
that
later.
when he was 17.
That's what I'm saying,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying?
I'm
It's like-
37 right now,
Yeah.
so that's 20 years.
20
ago.
years have gone by, and you're like, are we still talking about this? We're still talking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I witnessed the first gay marriage in Denton County
Oh, that's cool.
on the day that it fucking.
Where do they
passed.
do it? Like on the square, like at the courthouse or something there?
Yeah, right in front.
Yeah.
It was like it was an awesome fucking thing, because it was like, dude, like how was like how
course
how
it's
was
so
that
good.
illegal? You know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
no one got hurt. You know, like, no one exploded. Like, what?
the
Like
right to love
how
and
was
hate.
that? Like, that was illegal for a long time. Jesus.
Did you ever
Yeah.
see the, y'all ever watch Key and Peele, the skit show?
Yeah. that
Did
was
you ever
cool,
see the
yeah.
one where gay marriage got legal and both the guys are, they're like a couple in the skit, and one of them's like more flamboyantly gay, and he's like, woo, we're going to get married over here, over there, on a cloud in the sky. And like, and the other one, I guess he was basically using like gay marriage is illegal. I would marry you, but I can't. But he really didn't want to.
Okay.
And they're being interviewed by the news. So he's like, "Of course, we're gonna get married today, right now. You're practically my husband. You're my husband." And the other one's like, "You know, we just we got to wait to see what's really going on with it all. We're not too sure." It's like. But it's so funny because
Jesus.
you know there were some gay people
All
when
different.
it became legal, they were like, "Fuck, I'm gonna have to commit now. I don't have an excuse anymore."
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah, welcome to our world.
Or any world, you know.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Hey, man, like love is love, you know. So, and it's been this entire journey, you know, for the new record and everything, and for Richard to have accomplished all of this within the 21, going on 22 years now. It's absolutely remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're lucky to have the people that surround us, with the musicians that we have, with the band that we have. I mean, we ask so much of them. Like, you're going to hear those 16 songs, but I'm going to tell you, like, we fucking grind every day, literally every day. We're asking something of someone. I mean, it's,
We're on Grinder, guys.
you know what I'm saying? But like, we're really, it's fun, and we do like. You're such a dick. But you know what I'm saying?
I know.
I don't know. We're trying.
Let me ask you this, because you're talking about these older bands, you know, like Black Flag and stuff, and in a genre of music where people often, in my opinion, make the mistake of making records that don't have quality recordings because they think like it's supposed to sound shitty. It's supposed to sound like this.
They were trying to make it sound as best as they fucking could at that time.
Right.
What the fuck, dude?
But you know what I mean? But that still
It's
comes
money.
along nowadays. People are like, you know, if you try to make a nice polished record, you almost get a little bit of hate for it, right? But y'all made a
Are you
well
talking about
recorded
selling
record.
out? Are you talking about, is that what you're talking about? Like,
Yeah, I'm not saying you're selling out, but I'm saying people are like, oh, it sounds too
But
good.
if you make a record like that, you're kind of selling out.
But we
You think so?
self-recorded.
Well, yeah, because like it becomes. Then,
How's it selling out though to just have good audio? You know what I mean?
That's all we do.
Listen, guys, we're not selling out. We're buying in.
Well, nobody
Do you own a timeshare?
nobody paid you to make it sound good. That's not selling out.
No, we made that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We-
Robert was like so persistent
Oh,
about
man,
like
he's
fucking
so
everything. Like,
Were you fighting that urge in the beginning, or did you love all of it, or how did that process go?
If the money had been given to me to produce this record, it would have been done in a month and a half, and you know, it would have been about not even like. I mean, it would have been cool, but like, it would have been like.
So when he starts showing you what it's going to sound like, do you
Because I let everything slide, and Robert's like the fucking like.
Yeah.
you just
like-
full trust? You're just like, go for it, do it.
I'm like, yeah, go for
Well,
it.
it
Because
takes-
for me, it's all about energy.
But it takes all of.
As a writer, like me and Robert, like are like, we're like fucking total yin yangs. Like just for instance, like, shit, if it was up to Robert, he'd probably fire a whole band. Like no, fuck you. That we didn't have a better drummer. We didn't have a better like tighter rhythm set. You know, like fucking guitarists need to be just like he'd do that. But then the show would suck.
Right.
And like if it was
So-
all up to me.
Oh,
The show would be awesome, but the fucking music may not be.
Yeah,
as-
that is the balance that you guys have to walk,
You know what
though.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys definitely have to walk that balance because
We do.
your show is kind of what you're known for. So
it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, but this will be. Yeah, but now you're catching up where your record is as good as your show.
Oh man.
Don't you think? Have you thought about it that way?
Dude,
Not till today.
you just. I feel like lightning just hit me on the tip of the penis. No, yes, of course. Like, man, I never thought about that like that, but like.
That's why I wonder why people snub quality recordings. Because to me, your recording in a lot of instances
You
is
don't
always
wanna
trying
be
to
like-
capture the
We did it,
live
but-
show.
Now listen, I love Guar.
Okay.
But how many? Let's be honest. How many people just like sit around just like listening to Guar? It's about the fucking show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, and like, if you could be a band that can have a fucking gnarly show and like have a rad record, like, fucking why wouldn't you, dude? I mean, of course.
Speaking of the show, when did you decide you're so comfortable going up there in basically thongs now?
Okay, well, I only started putting on thongs because it was illegal to play naked in Texas.
So you'd play naked if you could?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
What about? Why do you want to play naked at all?
Hey, it gets hot up there.
It's so hot.
Like,
This is a temperature issue.
No,
That's-
seriously.
You're like,
You
it's
have
just
no
very warm.
idea. You have no idea.
I'm a
Like,
fellow heavy sweater. Don't worry.
Everything in
gets-
you that can sweat will sweat.
No, I get that.
It's too much.
But still, most people would go, "Oh, I'm going to wear a cutoff shirt. I'm going to get a fan." You decided I'm going to take off my clothes.
if you're not fully prepared to be completely naked in front of an audience, you're not fully prepared to be completely honest with an audience.
So you think being nude is honest?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do.
When did it? When?
Honesty is most base. It's like,
What about that makes you feel like it's an honest thing to give to a crowd?
I don't know. It gets hot up there. I'm trying to like sprinkle some like
You're trying to- yeah.
art dust on this shit. Yeah.
Remember when you used to like use the clear packaging tape just as underwear,
Dude.
but you got so sweaty that it just like dripped off. So we've come a long
Yes,
way.
I
So
do.
have you gotten kicked off any stages for
Not recently.
malfunctions of your attire?
Not recently. No.
No,
I've been kicked off a shitload of stages.
no. But I mean for being naked.
Again, a shit.
So when I was 17 years old, we played in a place in Arlington called the Dream World Music Complex.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And it was one of those shows where like they're like, "Hey, show up at 2 p.m. and you don't play till like 9."
Yeah, it was like a massive venue,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
Massive.
Like problem. Like
Yeah.
no way you could ever fill that
No.
fucking thing.
No.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, literally, it probably held like 1,000 people.
yeah, dude, seriously. And then like we showed up and we waited all day to play, and then I'm 17. We go on stage and during the show I like take all my clothes off. And then like the sound guy comes and like starts yelling through the fucking
You took them all off completely naked.
yeah, and he starts yelling at me like through the fucking PA. He's like, "This is an all edges show," and I was like, I'm a minor." Yeah, like,
In that moment, though, what was in your mind where you're going, I'm going to strip my clothes off?
He said, "Put your clothes back on, or you'll have to stop playing." So I said, "Okay." Threw the fucking mic down and we left.
What went through your head, though, where you're like, I'm taking off my fucking clothes? Do you remember?
Just the like the adrenaline of it, like,
flip.
dude, like, Native American warriors, some of the Plains Indians would strip naked when they would fight their enemy. Because imagine a fucking naked motherfucker running at you with face paint and a goddamn spear. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, to me, it was like just a primal thing. I don't know, like.
Do you remember how the crowd reacted?
Pretty crazily. The first time I did it, first time I did it, we were on tour in New Orleans, and then like when we showed up, the bartender like was like, she just jokingly asked like, "Are y'all that band that the singer plays naked?" And we're like, and my guitarist was like, "Yep." And I was like, "Fuck!" So I fucking did it. And then when we came back to Texas, you weren't allowed to do that as much. New Orleans, like anything was like.
Were you allowed to do it anywhere? Like New Orleans didn't care?
New Orleans didn't care.
Like it's probably illegal, but they're just not going to enforce it.
I've actually I've done it in more places than I'm like willing to admit, but like it's like, yeah, it's illegal, but it's so like. Think about this. I mean, like, so in Texas, I can't walk into a bar and smoke on the fucking stage, right?
Okay.
Right? I can't walk into a bar and smoke.
Yeah.
But if I go on stage and it's part of my act, I can smoke because it's like covered by the fucking. He's a performer.
Okay.
I feel like anything that you do as performance art is totally allowed.
Interesting.
And if you don't like it, don't like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, you can always just turn around and leave the venue.
I mean, because it is art.
You can leave. You
know?
leave anytime
it's
you
art.
want.
If you don't like the music,
Do you
if you don't like the show.
How many times have you had someone come up and give you? I'm assuming some people have been like, "What the fuck?" But how many people have come up to you and talked to you rationally about like, "Hey, I didn't like that." Have you had anybody approach
I've
you?
had more motherfuckers that asked for me to do it when I didn't do it.
Oh, really?
Than I've had for people to be upset with me about having done it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And I'm dead ass serious. I did have grown men like in their 40s. Like not even kind of like this motherfucker. We pay money to see you. Why are in my mouth?
Do you watch stand up comedy at all? There's a guy named Bert Kreischer. Have you ever heard of him?
I've heard a couple things that he's done, and he's awesome. And I've gotten compared to him.
Well, because that's part of his bit now. Is he started taking his shirt off on stage, which is not a thing comics do, right? That's pretty unheard of. But now, if he goes on stage,
it's hot up there.
If he goes on stage and does not take his shirt off, the fans feel cheated. They're like, dude, this is your act. This is what you do.
Yeah, I know. I did feel like that for a short time. There were times where, like, when people were like really all about it, you're like, shit, is this all they want me? Am I fucking Gallagher? Am I fucking just smashing watermelons? But yeah, but no, it's something that I embrace because I think that we should all be very proud of our bodies, and I think that when I was growing up, there was a lot of time in my life where I was not proud of my body, and like I'm not saying you should be like proud of like your health, like if I can listen, I ate chicken wings and smoked cigarettes and smashed beers, but like I'm proud of my goddamn body. I earned this shit,
No, it's a good message. Yeah. It's
no matter what, be proud of who you are.
I just know that I would never ever be able to do that.
It's okay,
dude. That's totally cool. Although,
yeah, but it's also like a jealousy issue too. Like I would love. I think I would
fire that fucking top.
No, we're not doing that. We're not popping a top off right now. But I like the enthusiasm where you're like. Yeah! I can tell that if I was like 5-6 more beers in, I'd be like, let's fucking do it.
Go,
for sure.
Go.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but no, the shirt that's not a big deal. I'm talking about like getting on stage either completely naked in a thong, whatever. It's like it's so But I feel like
you're covered.
Well, I know you're covered, but it's still I don't know.
Also, just hear me out. If I do go on stage completely nude, my wiener is so small that if you're nearsighted, you're not going to see it. Like just even
you have to be this close to the wiener to see it.
You're not gonna. It's like a. What's it red? Like it's like a fucking button on a fur coat. Is that there? Like.
That's my favorite. That is my favorite comparison.
Button on a fur coat. Well, cheers to the button on the fur coat.
I need a beer.
Oh shit! I got you.
Well, since you brought it up.
Oh, the fur coat or the button?
The button. Are you saying that you have a smaller penis?
Dude, you know what? And here's the thing.
I'm only asking because you are throwing it out there to the world.
Okay, what's weird about it is that, like, I didn't always know that I had a super small wiener. Like, I feel like, like, as I was growing up, like, friends would be like, it's fine, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I, like, learned eventually that I was small wiener.
How did you learn that? Like,
well, just math and just you're like, it's not,
did you grow up in Denton?
Fuck yeah, dude.
Okay.
But
I feel like it's definitely a small town thing where guys at some point whip it out and compare, right?
my town's not small, bro.
That's not what I'm talking. No, but what I mean is I definitely think at some point people in the country are like, well, let me see yours. I'll show you mine. And you like size up and see where everybody's at because you have no idea of what people are like.
It sometimes solves arguments. Two dudes, like it did, like redneck dudes be like, well, fucking show me your waiter.
Yeah.
And they're like, and then we'd be like the little wiener would like back down.
Yeah.
But like,
I don't picture you backing down from people though.
No, not much.
Yeah. So how old were you when you were having that revelation then?
Do you remember how old you were when you saw your dad's wiener?
I do.
I was.
Yeah, I do.
I was
because it's a very like, oh, you got one of those.
Jesus,
and that's a lot different than mine.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Jesus,
where's
titty.
all that hair?
Yeah. What the fuck? Jesus fucking Christ! You're like, it's supposed to be that. You never know. You
got
know?
a long way to go.
Yeah, but
so what? You saw your dad's and then you thought about yours? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's when I first realized that I wasn't going to be able to, like...
But wouldn't you have just been a kid then? Wouldn't you think like...
Yes, but kids don't have small wieners. They have kid wieners.
Okay.
A kid's wiener can be as small as it needs to be. You know what I mean? But, like, once you grow into adulthood, you can't have a kid's wiener anymore. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, that's so stupid.
No, it's not stupid. I'm fascinated by this topic because it's one of those things that
you like, you have to come to a place in your life where you realize that your wiener there's no good way.
just say it.
You have to come into a place in your life where you look at your wiener and you respect it, and you're like, all right, if this is all you're ever going to be, it's fine with me.
Cheers, man. That's beautiful. Well, I will say you have the body confidence of a man
Got you.
who has as big of a wiener size as he would like.
Dude, I think about that too. Like, I emotionally have a huge wiener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's how you do it.
Reality.
Yeah.
I mean, after talking to you, I understand that you did. It's so hard for me to imagine you having depression, though, back in the day, because you're just so...
Everyone
Well, I know they do, and like I've slipped in my own version, and everybody does at different points. But it's like you seem so confident now about yourself,
I saw a hell when I was in prison for that bank robbery.
Oh, I forgot about that. You went to prison.
So-
How long did you go to prison for?
I was in county jail for about a year, and I was in prison for about 8 months.
So what was your sentence then? How many years?
2 years.
2 years?
4 years parole.
Okay.
So,
Wow.
yeah, I saw hell, and
Yeah, I'm sorry you had to go through that, man.
I'm not.
Well, good.
I would do the fucking exact same thing every fucking time to get right here where I'm at right now, because it's like I've never been happier in my fucking life.
Do you think something could have happened before you drove to that bank that would have made you get to this point without having to go through all that stuff? Do you think they're like, could somebody have talked to you? Could something have happened that would have made you go a different route? Or was that just...
well, since they didn't, I would say that no. They could,
Yeah, but I mean, now you have hindsight on it, right? Now you kind of have more of a eagle-eyed view of what you were going through back then.
Well, I'll say that, like, everything that was supposed to happen did happen. And that's how the universe works.
That's how we found each other.
That's how we found each other.
How'd y'all find each other?
We were supposed to happen. Actually, she was casting a fucking play, and I didn't have a headshot, so I just drew a picture of a penis and wrote my telephone number in it, which she didn't call, by the way.
It was like, what is your experience? He's like, well, I walked down the sidewalk and I went into the door and then I saw you. So now I'm filling out
Where? What do you mean? Where was this at?
It was just my experience acting. She was casting like a fucking play, like over the Denton Theater.
Okay.
I just sort of walked in and like drew a picture of a dick and like said some crazy shit and then like left.
And got the job?
Well, here's
No.
no. So then like a couple years later, I bumped into her again, but in this facet, like yeah, she's badass, you know, and like she's the one who got us all like organized, like as a band and stuff.
So you said you were sentenced for 4 years.
2 years.
2 years, but you said 4-year parole. Oh, 4-year parole. Sorry.
No, 4 months. So in
4
Texas,
months.
the way parole works is like it's to the end of your sentence. So for instance, my uncle, my dad's brother, was sentenced to a life sentence in Texas for murder, and a life sentence in Texas is 99 years. So he had to do a minimum of 33 years. He had to do a minimum of a 30-year sentence. So he had the parole option, even though he had life. But for an aggravated sentence, he had to do like a 30-year time, and so he did 33 years. And when he got out, he now has 66 years parole. Does that make sense? Like so till the end of your sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's to the end of your sentence. So like if you got a year and you do 9 months, you got a 3-month parole. You know?
So what was that like when they're like, all right, we're gonna let you out?
Worst. It was actually worse than going in.
How so?
When I first got my parole date, it was like 3 weeks from then. I was terrified because you don't want to tell anybody that you got parole, because there's motherfuckers that you're in there with that got 80 years and they're 19 years old. And what are they going to do? Stab you to death? They're going to give them 80 years and 6 months?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So they get petty about it?
So like you don't want to let anybody know that you got parole, right? And then on top of that, like, you know, it's when you think you're going to be there forever, it's like, well, I live here now. But when you know you're about to get out, there's this whole like, holy shit, like, you know, like, but it's like anxiety though. You know what I mean? Because you're like, you haven't been around shit, dude. You haven't taken a shit without 9 other motherfuckers like being around. You know what I mean? Think about that shit. There's no AC in there. I mean, it's like it's a fucking hellhole. Like it's like, especially in Texas, you know, it's like a fucking.
Yeah, I forgot about that. There were people bringing that to light, how a lot of these prisons did not have AC systems, and that it's
I was
cruel
never
and unusual.
once. I was never once on a farm that had AC. The only time that you would see AC or feel it is if you went to visitation, because they want to let the people who come visit you think that like that's what you've got, you know. And then you would have it in the school, because if you don't have at least high school diploma or a GED when you're in prison, like they immediately enroll you in like GED classes or some shit. So like, but the incentive is to like not get a GED so that you can sit in the AC. So that like
drag it out, enjoy
because
the
otherwise
AC.
what you get that, and then now you got to go work in the fields. I was on a fucking chain gang, dude. Like no shit, like some shit like when you see like the movie Life, like some shit out of the 30s. You're like, oh, we're fucking stripes and dudes are right around and got it. You're chained together. There's like motherfuckers on horses with shotguns. It was like some shit like that. It was like,
and remind me how old you are at this point.
37, dude.
No. When this was going on.
So this is what 2016 into 17. So shit.
Okay.
I mean, not that fucking long ago.
Okay.
I was in my early 30s.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Like 30, 31, 32. Shit.
But had to like deal with it.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy, dude. Like,
That is crazy. That's crazy. What's an average day like when you're in there?
well, it depends. For me, it was I wrote a lot of letters. Not just for me, but like everybody's got like a hustle in there. I have a very pretty cursive handwriting. It's weird. Like her cursive is pretty, but if I write like manuscript, it looks like a fucking serial killer just like scrawled like some death note. Like yeah. But like for some reason, I got like a really pretty cursive. And so,
Of all the people I would guess that be like, he's got beautiful cursive handwriting.
no, right? Like, what the fuck?
I just picture you. I just picture you sitting naked at a table, jotting.
So my hustle would be like, yeah, I mean, and I don't have motherfuckers. Everyone, I remember one time like this dude came up to me and he like this old black dude, like really like looked like he was probably like in his 70s or 80s. He like came up and was like, gave me a couple soups, like the fucking ramen packets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's like, hey, it's like my granddaughter's birthday. I want to like write her something really nice. And I was like, dude, like fucking like don't pay me for that shit. Like, fuck, of course, like that's like, this is a dude that like hadn't said a fucking word since I'd been in there. You know what I mean? But like came up and asked me that shit. It was just like, I wanted to do such a good job. Like.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't believe how many motherfuckers were illiterate in there, dude. Like, that blew my fucking... Like, how did you... So you have a cell phone and you're illiterate. Like how... Like, that blow...
Yeah.
Like, what are you even doing with it? Like, you're like, what the fuck?
How'd that guy find out that you wrote cursive like that?
That was kind of a big thing in the goddamn... the little cell block I was on. This was on the Buster Cole unit.
The Buster Cole unit?
Yeah.
So what? Somebody just saw you writing a letter one day and they're like, that's nice.
Each one of the day rooms have like maybe 90 motherfuckers. You got like a day room, you got like 90 like racks for motherfuckers to sleep on.
Mm-hmm.
Shit. But like each one's like, it's crazy. I don't know, the way it works is like, but then that's attached to like another one that's like that, but you can't really go over there. I got a tattoo on my ass while I was in prison, dude. It was pretty badass. I smoked a cigarette, which certainly was in a dude's ass. There's, I can't, like, yeah, it was certainly, but, and I got to drink prison hooch, which meant like, ketchup and beans and like orange juice, and like they like throw like some piece of bread in there so you get the yeast and like, yeah, it was. Yeah, it tastes like dog shit, but got you going where you wanted to go.
Tasted pretty bad?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Like, dude's been carrying it around in a sack, like, on his body so the guards don't find it, like, when they're searching shit. And he's, like, been burping it. It's been getting hot for, like, fucking a couple weeks, yeah.
Oh, my God.
What is something that was like... Well, first of all, when you're going in there, I mean, are you just freaking the fuck out?
No.
No? Why not?
Dude, I mean, there are dudes who do, and I've seen that happen. But for me, it was just like, just dead-eyed wall in front of you. Like, I'm going to fucking war, and like, I'm not trying to be the aggressor, but if somebody fucks them, you know what I mean? Like, so you just kind of like, cool, I'm going in, they're going to shave my head, they're going to give me a fucking pillow and a fucking roll of toilet paper and a fucking razor blade, you know what I mean? It's like, so you just go in like that, and like, you just got to be fucking ready, dude. And like, you'll find out real quick who your fucking friends are, because the dudes who want to be your friend are dudes that are like you, and that, like, those kinds of dudes like want to know that like you're going to click up with them. Like, if some crazy shit goes down, you know what I mean? Like, you're willing to fight, like, you're part of the same fucking team. So that's all it is. As long as you can like be fine about that, dude. And like, I thought of myself as like an investigative journalist. I'm not really here. I'm like trying to see this.
You're kind of disassociating, like, I'm watching this.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
When did you have a moment where it hit you where you're like, oh no, I'm here, like, or did you always kind of keep a distance from it in your mind anyway?
I mean, not anything that I would like say here, but like, yeah, I mean, yeah, there were those times where you're like, I can't believe that this thing that I'm seeing right now, it's like that kind of shit, so it's like, I imagine it's like, it's almost like going to war, you know what I mean? It's just like fucking, you just have to get that, like.
Well, I can't, I'm asking those things because I can't imagine, like, you're already.
And while I'm in there, motherfuckers are writing me constantly, and I'm fucking, I have
like friends and family.
Not just that, dude. I mean, I did interviews and shit for fucking prison. Like, it was nuts, dude. Like, it was like.
Wild. Like
Observer, like I was doing shit with Observer, like fucking. I was writing shit to Maximum Rock and Roll, and like.
Well, I'm just trying to picture someone. You know, you're hanging on a thread there. You're depressed. You know, you're saying like, I'm doing this. If they kill me, they kill me. Right? The robbery.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you know, our solution here in this country is let's put them in a prison. Doesn't that just compound all your issues?
It worked.
What do you think made it work?
It's not for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that right now. It worked for me just because...
You know, versus getting worse, getting more depressed.
I read the Dhammapada while I was in prison.
What's that?
It's the sacred writings of... It's basically like the Buddhist Bible.
Okay.
And I learned a lot about Eastern philosophy, like in that regard. I read many books. I read the complete works of Shakespeare. I read the complete works of Flannery O'Connor. I read a lot of fucking constantly. I just thought about it as like a place to like learn and read and stuff, and like, but Buddhism 100% like saved me. Just like that. I mean, you gotta think. I'd grown up like in a fucking, you know, very Baptist-y, you know, like.
Yeah, Southern Baptist, Texas stuff.
You know,
yeah,
and like the only thing that Christianity ever taught me was to be like afraid of hell. Remember, like when I thought that I had discovered masturbating, and I remember like when I first did it, I was like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna go to hell!" Like fucking like so, you know what I mean? Like and like shouldn't feel like that.
Yeah,
you know, like you just. I mean, there's only us, you know, like we're all just here, and then like it just kind of like let all this like weight off of me, like that maybe like God doesn't hate me. Maybe I'm not cursed. Maybe I'm not, because once you go through crazy things in your life, you start to get like that mentality, you know, like that I'm cursed, you know. But it's like now it doesn't even matter like if you're cursed, you know, you just want to do better for your like fellow. Like I want all my friends to fucking hit home runs. You know what I mean? I want, you know, like I want everybody just close to me to be doing like as best as they can, you know.
Yeah, you realize it's not always a competition. Everybody can do well.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and like to learn that in a fucking hellhole like that, you know what I mean?
That's amazing that you took something that positive out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is, you know. Because everything else in there, I imagine, would be telling you, like...
The exact opposite.
Yeah, your life's fucked. Everything is going to be ruined. This is it.
Dude, yeah, for sure. But, like, you just have to, like, you know... Yeah, I'm of the belief that, like, you can find a lesson in anything. You know what I mean? And, like, that's what I found in that.
That's awesome, man. I'm really happy that that's what you took from it. Seems like you're definitely on the better end of things. Do you feel like you are now?
Dude, yes. Every
day.
Every single day. Every day. Like I was out hanging out with our band when we were filming that last part of that Party With Us video. This was just like a few weeks ago, and like I actually had to step away from us hanging out so that I could go and like thank God and cry. Like I was like, you put me here on this planet with these people, and like I got to be here. Like this is, you know, like at this time you're just so thankful and so happy, and so like to me it all comes down to just kind of count your blessings. You know what I mean? And like,
yeah,
that's all it's like for me.
Yeah, even just talking about it, you got a huge smile on your face about
Dude,
it. You're like,
I'm so happy. Dude.
Yeah. That's incredible, man. I never, I didn't know that story about you at all.
Oh, dude.
That's fascinating.
So it was just tell dick jokes now, because like that's supposed to be like the Richard Haskins. Everybody.
So dick,
like,
dick, party. No.
Dick party.
Oh my God.
No, I mean I know it's like it's weird because it's like I know that's what like a lot of people think of me just because the band being like so wild, but it's like
so
no.
wild.
I'm a sensitive man.
I cry.
I
cry.
I cry.
Man, my wife and I, we have a little boy now, and it's like, man, kids make you soft. They make you so much more emotional than I've ever been. And it's like, oh my God, I've never been a crier or anything. And there's been a couple times he gets you and you're like, oh, it's got me deep.
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. I got a kiddo.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
How old?
The ones in America?
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding.
Oh my God. Here we go. Back to the party. Back to the party.
Wait, the ones that we like have to.
Your dependents, I guess. What do we?
No, I'm totally cool, man.
Ashley.
Oh, yeah, I have a daughter.
Did you just remember?
No, I was just staring off at the distance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, I got a daughter, Ashley. She's amazing, fucking super badass, super smart, looks fucking like me, poor fucking girl.
Oh. Let's say it like that.
Like little beard and shit. Like,
Oh, come on.
But I fucking, yeah. No, got a kid named Noah. He's 10.
10.
He's badass, dude. He looks like a little half Mexican Richard Haskins. It does. He fucking looks fucking just like me.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. It hits a nerve in you where you're like, damn, that's part of me. Like, what I found was so weird about it is, you know, I don't know if it's all nature, nurture, a mix or whatever, but you definitely see, like, there's this little pre-programmed personality in there that you had nothing to really do with. You know, like my kid's got his own thoughts, his own ideas about some stuff where you're like, I didn't teach you that shit. I didn't give you that attitude or whatever it may be. You know, it's like that's your own little thing that you came prepackaged with. I know, but it's just fascinating because you forget, like, damn, man, he's half of me, half of her, but he's got another half in there that's just him, I guess. You know, it's like there's too many halves.
So observant.
Yeah.
You know, and like,
yeah.
I know what you mean, man. Like, dude, by the way, I've been tripped out like the last like few seconds, like about like how fucking radio friendly your voice is. Like, you're just, like, fucking,
yeah.
Thanks. I would love to be on like regular radio. Although podcast is the new radio. Radio's dying.
Dude,
Yeah.
we should like start one for like bodybuilders, dude.
Are you a bodybuilder?
Like the
Of
podcast.
course, obviously.
No, yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey, I don't know, man.
I'm building these burst veins.
That's a dumb
on
question.
fucking-
Of course he is. This is
This
fucking
hip fat that grew way
ridiculous.
too quickly.
You too can be like this. Sign right up.
The
Sign right
Toddcast,
up.
man.
The Toddcast?
So I got this friend named Todd Little, and like,
We love him
every
so
time I
much.
fucking
Hi,
see
Todd.
him, I can't stop. Like, in Todd we trust. You know, if this Todd forsaken place. You know?
Todd, damn it.
As Todd is my witness. You know,
Todd is my
you know, I'm a good Todd fearing man. You know, like say some shit. You know, like
This sounds like your next round of merch, by the way.
I can't stop every time I see him.
We love him so much.
Yeah, and he's just we love the fucking shit out of Todd Little, but like I can't stop.
Hey, you're talking about names. That reminds me. Sorry,
Todd Speed.
I got to look at your track list again because I had to listen to this song. Like, first of all, I couldn't like.
Are you going to play some music?
No.
Call Tomo.
No, I figured that one out.
Wait,
Who
which
is Joe Cripps? What's the story there?
Oh,
Bro, hey, seriously.
Yeah, because
Don't edit this out.
No, I won't. But like that song,
Yeah,
when it was first going, you're just kind of in the groove of the music,
No.
and then I had to rewind. I was like, "What was this fucking lyric? Who is this guy? What happened to
So
him?"
Joe Cripps, I met him in Denton. Just a goofy, fun to be around dude, you know. And I was like, this dude's fucking cool, you know. Like, and then I find out he was in Brave Combo, you know, the multiple Grammy Award winning polka band from Denton. I mean, they've been on the fucking Simpsons and shit, you know. And like, he was in that band, and then he was in. I had a band called the Unmarked Graves that was kind of like a side band from Wee-Beasties, and he was in that band. And then he actually did play a couple Wee-Beasties shows with us, and he's like a aux percussionist.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got sent to prison, like maybe like 4 or 5 months before I got out, like 4 months before I got out, I like hadn't noticed. He used to write me all the time. I'm sure I got on fucking lists because of him. Because I remember one time he wrote me a fucking letter. It was like a 4-page letter. It was like 1 page of like him actually writing to me, and then 3 pages of like Jew jokes. And I was like, God damn it! Like, there's white supremacists, and he's all fucking laughing about it, thinking it's hilarious. You know, like I'm like, fuck you. You know, like
Yeah.
You know, I didn't even read it. I was like, Jesus Christ! Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, like he just stopped writing me one day, and then I called this photographer, Ed Steele. He'd been like a big photographer like in Dallas. He was Dallas Observer's photographer of the year for a couple years there, and for the music photographer of the year. And he, I called Ed Steele one day. It's like an act of Congress to get somebody to answer your fucking phone from fucking prison, you know.
This was like 2016.
16. And he like fucking calls me, and I was like, wait, you know, just happenstance. I was like, hey, what's up with Joe? And he tells me Joe's disappeared. And I was like, what the fuck you mean? You know, and he kind of explained it to me, and then evidently what had happened, Joe had moved back to Little Rock. He was from Little Rock.
Mm-hmm.
His brother lives there too. Moved back to Little Rock, and you know, he was drinking a lot in Denton. You know, he was trying to fucking maybe get like a little bit straighter. You know, playing a bunch of gigs over at this place called the Whitewater Tavern, I believe is what it is. But anyways,
Yeah, you sang the song. Was he just like a house drummer for them, or was he in
he
certain
wasn't.
bands?
He was in a. I mean, not necessarily a house drummer, but not too far from it because he was playing with a shitload of bands. You know what I mean? And so he went to go get his. He got his check and cashed it and had like $2,700 in his pocket. And then fucking knowing Joe, how I know him, I bet what was probably happening was he was buying a lot of drinks. He was probably he might have even bragged to somebody about how much fucking money he had on him.
Mm-hmm.
And he got really drunk, and the bar was like, "Yeah, we're calling you a cab." He was like, fuck that. I only live like a mile away. So he fucking went outside, and no one ever saw him again. And this is not, the police won't tell you this shit, but like, I hope whoever the, you know, fucking, whenever he left, he called a friend of ours. I won't say her name, but like, he called like a friend of ours. He was like, hey, there's a couple guys following me, you know. I got all this fucking money on me, you know, and stay on the phone with me, you know, till. And she said it sounded like a fucking argument with him, and the fucking phone went dead. And like, he's not been fucking seen since. They've written about it in Little Rock papers. They've written about it in Denton papers. They've written about it in Dallas papers. They've written about it.
Did they do a proper investigation about it? Did they find anything out? Like, what was their...
The problem was Joe was, you know, he was a weird dude. You know, he had a crazy schedule.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really notice that he was missing until he started missing gigs.
Mm.
So like several days later, then they were like started piecing the shit together. Like, well, shit, there's a gap from here and here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's like, and he was such a good dude. And like, dude, I mean, like, shit. Some fucking hunter is gonna end up pissing on his bones someday. You know, or like some, you know, it's like that's how we're gonna go. You know, like. Mm-hmm. We don't even know it, and it sucks because it's like it's different when your friend dies versus like they disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Because your friend dies, you're gonna go. You usually have a place to mourn them, and it's like, shit, we ain't even got a place to mourn this motherfucker.
Find Joe
you know?
Cripps is.
And I told Robert when we were recording the record, I was like, dude, I want to write a song for Joe, you know. And
it's done really well because. It's not.
We have Paul Slavens on that song.
Paul Slavens.
Wow.
We also have
We've
Joe
got
Cripps' guy that he looks up to a lot. Like, God damn it, I can't remember his name. He's like percussionist idol. And then we've got Jeff Barnes from Brave Combo, who was in the. We got a bunch of his friends on it too, which is cool.
There's definitely a different vibe with that song. It doesn't stand out on the record like in a weird way, but you definitely notice like,
There's a shift.
we're hitting
energy.
a tone.
Yeah.
But it works so well. Like the record ebbs and flows the way it needs to, and it's really nice that you were able to work in something
We have like
a little more
16
serious
musicians.
on such a playful record. You know.
Hey, dude, I'm down to keep going, but I need to pee and smoke a cigarette.
Yeah, for sure. We can pause for a second.
What?
Yeah, not at all. All right. Well, we're back. That was a break for us, but it was instantly for you guys.
Yeah. I can't believe you guys didn't get to experience.
Pull that microphone closer.
I can't believe you guys didn't get to experience smoking that cigarette.
It was a magical moment. It was a magical moment.
Dude, you know I think one of the worst records ever made was, dude,
Worst record. Let me hear it.
when Jerry Olney did that Misfits Project 1950 shit.
Why do you think it's the worst?
This magic moment. Like, it's fucking.
The Misfits are a band.
I got tickets.
Me too, me too,
We all
me
have
too. Yeah,
tickets.
Talk to me about the Misfits, because I've always had respect for them, but I've never got it.
Okay, so
Like, I respect what they've done for music.
the first thing that I ever got from them, I went to a record store on Fry Street in Denton, Texas, and there was a guy working at the front desk, and his name's Mike Wee-Beasties, and he ended up being in a band called Kid Chaos. He was in the Riverboat Gamblers. He's in Dracula's. He's in like he does comedy shit. He's like fucking amazing, and like we were being like, yeah, I'm kind of like into punk rock. Like, what do I listen to? And like, I remember he was like, yeah, check out Misfits. Like, check out Black Flag. Like, all these bands. And it was cool. And I ended up getting a 7-inch from a band called The Reds, and like, which was like a friend's band of his. Just awesome shit. And I remember listening to Misfits like the first time, like, fucking blew my mind. And it was like, who's even thought about doing, in my mind at that time I was like, who's fucking doing shit like this or thought about doing shit like this? I actually thought that I was a Misfits fan before I knew that I was a punk rocker. Like, they're a fucking badass band, dude. The melodies that Glenn Danzig wrote, especially back in the day, dude, unparalleled, unmatched.
I think when I first heard about them is when Metallica did a cover album. Do you remember that cover?
They did. They've done 3 covers of them. They covered Last Caress, they covered Green Hell, and they covered Die Die My Darling.
That's right, yeah.
And I remember seeing them cover Die Die My Darling and being like, oh, this is nice. This is fucking rad. And it was like just a Misfits cover. You know?
Yeah, but that was the it was I guess it's Last Caress, right? That's
Man, think about that.
I
Seriously.
got something to say.
For
Is that
sure.
that one? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, because I remember like when you're hearing the lyrics of that song, I was like, whoa.
But I mean, really think about that.
Yeah.
Think about this. There's this band from New Jersey, from Lodi, New Jersey. During the entire time they were an actual band, they definitely sold less than 10,000 records. And then years later, a band that's getting famous covers them, and then they get even more famous, and then they cover them again. And now that band is playing in Dallas, Texas, and Alice Cooper is opening for them.
Right.
On paper, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah.
Because it's like, dude, they should be opening for Alice Cooper. You know what I mean? But
I didn't realize that they had that little popularity when they were in their
No.
prime, I guess. So, well, now they're in their prime, I guess.
I saw an interview with Danzig one time, and he was talking with fucking Rolling Stone, and they kept asking him. This is in his Danzig era, like when that was first really blown up. They kept asking him questions about the Misfits, and he was like, kept dodging it, and then like finally the dude like pressed him about it, like, why don't you talk about the Misfits? And he's like, do you know how many fucking records we sent you? Do you know how many times we like begged you to like come to one of our shows or like mention our name? If you had mentioned our name even once, we probably would still be a fucking band today. Like, why do you want to talk about it like 20 years after it happened?
Yeah.
And now here it is like 40 years after it fucking happened, dude.
Yeah, it's wild how that stuff catches on like that. You know?
Jewel, man, when she released that album was released in 92. That like one where she talks about making breakfast, like, I bake my eggs, have my pack. It didn't hit till 96, so like 4 years later. Even with Danzig, when Danzig put out the song Mother in 1988, it didn't hit MTV until 1993.
God, that's wild.
So just the way that like things.
That's like lifetimes in music, you know? Yeah. I feel that way about Operation Ivy. They're the same way. It's like one of those bands, they've exploded.
Ivy was one of the greatest. Goddamn, I wish Paul was here. Like he was like, I'll take this one, and he was fucking.
But you know what I mean? It's like you don't go to a show without seeing a patch, a shirt, something. Like every Everybody
And
who
that
listens to
band
any punk rock music,
barely existed for 2 years.
it's incredible.
87 to 89
Mm-hmm.
in this one place in California, and their fucking patches are everywhere. Exactly.
And it's like you listen to it now, and you're still like, "Fuck, it's so good." It's
It
still
is.
so
It-
good.
it is.
It's like, yeah, the recordings are shitty because they were what 15, 16 years old back then.
No shit, dude.
And that's what you realize. You're like,
Records
God,
are
this is these guys are little kids writing this music.
No shit, dude. I mean, like,
That's what Richard was doing. He was 15 years old when he started the Wee-Beasties.
that's crazy to think about.
So it's the same.
There you go.
It's crazy.
I mean,
What do you think? What do you think is the trajectory for the Wee-Beasties now that you got a new record? What do you think happens now? Because everybody kind of got like an idea.
We're 6 songs in to another record already.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys? What do you do nowadays in music? Do you tour? Do you just put it out there? What do you do?
We
Yeah.
tour. We toured heavily like earlier part of this year, and then we're going back out a little bit like in October, and then we go back out in spring like real hard.
Because at this point, you've only done the listening party and the 3-link show, right? For the new record.
Dude, that's the thing. It
Actually,
doesn't even
no,
come out until Thursday.
But
Yeah,
we
yeah.
started- we
We're
started-
recording this on the 30th. Yeah,
So-
so this episode will probably be out like this weekend.
But we started doing Party With Us.
So
The record's out
so
now
the
if
new
you're
record
listening.
just came out.
Yeah, if you're
But
listening
we've
right now,
been-
the record's out. Go buy it.
Yeah.
But we've been doing this for this entire year.
Yeah, it's been like a year.
Like we were on tour for March to May.
Yeah, but I mean, those two things were the first time you've had like we're releasing this record and you're getting instant feedback from people on it, right?
Yeah.
First of all, what do you do at a listening party? By the way, I really wanted to go to that, but I couldn't make it. Do you sit there with a group of people and play the record front to back? How does that go?
Well, if Robert Hokamp had his way,
Yeah.
it would be everyone sit in complete silence and you listen to this album. But no,
I was wondering.
during that, it's like
No, it's
we
fun.
blast the fucking vinyl.
Okay.
We have great food.
We like shoot kamikazes.
Yeah.
great
Which
food,
we gotta
great
get some
alcohol.
shit like that after this.
I just picked in my mind. I had this expectation of like, am I going to go into a room and they're like, okay, guys, everyone sit down. We're gonna listen to the Wee-Beasties new record.
So we sedate you at first.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
Listen, when the moon is red with blood, and like
Yeah. How many is
a
it? So it's like
blood
your friends and stuff hanging out and like, yeah, record's about to be here. And
No, we had like 100 people there.
Yeah.
It was really fun.
It was.
what's that like when you're, because it's one thing when you're on stage, right? That's
Right.
fun. You're actively doing something. What's it like when you're just in a room and your music is playing and
Oh,
you're
it's
and you're
awesome.
looking at other people for reactions, trying to see like, do
No,
they
we're
love
like,
it? Do they
we're,
hate
we're
it?
doing autographs and
There's
we're
people.
selling
You're citing
vinyls
so many
and-
fucking records, and
It's
then like
crazy.
people that you don't even know.
Oh, you had the vinyl at that point, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
the
that's
vinyl.
cool.
The vinyl came to Stephanie's house an hour before she was leaving
That's awesome.
to like come to like Czech Republic. Leave it to those guys.
Right?
They're like getting shot at and shit by like Russians and shit. They're like, yeah, we'll make your vinyl. you know?
Yeah.
We've got to get this to the Wee-Beasties.
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
Yeah, it was wild. It was.
Oh man, that's exciting.
Dude, it was, man. Like it was,
It just takes
and it
so
sounds
much.
awesome though. Like,
Yes,
Yeah.
and it takes so much to get to that point, man. Like it just
Oh, yeah.
takes.
So I
so
printed up a vinyl record for a band. We did like a weird special recording kind of thing. And that was the only experience I've ever had purchasing vinyl, like having it created. And oh my God, like it is just,
we're gonna get shots of beers after this.
it's so much more expensive than I ever thought it would have been.
Yes.
Right. And then everything is so final. Like if you fuck up, it's even more expensive, right? Like if you mess up the artwork, the test presses,
Dude,
all
you
these
have
things.
no idea.
We looked at it a couple ways. One of the things that we looked at with is we had Jack Butcher from Enormous Store.
In Austin.
Who mastered this thing fucking rad, and then like
To our
and then like
specifications.
before we even like got the final thing, he's like, what are you guys trying to do with this? And we're like, well, we want to do digital shit, we're trying to press vinyl too. And he's like, well, give me $75 and I'll give you seriously $75.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
I'll
And
add,
Eric-
I'll
and
add on.
Eric at
and we were
Real-Time
like,
Audio.
what the fuck? So like he like mastered us, and he did like this badass vinyl master, like had out like with the text files with all the notes and shit too, for like the cues and shit. And
Well, that was
so
the other thing I realized. It's I
we
didn't.
skipped the line when we sent our shit to the Czech Republic. So like everybody who's like in line for mastering, we're like, yeah, see ya. Like,
Yeah.
and so it just went straight to the fucking lathe, and like they fucking got it done like champs, and like sent it to us, dude. It's badass.
Yeah, because it's like I didn't know that there's different mastering for vinyl.
There is. You have to go through an RIAA curve.
And even for radio and how you do all of that stuff. So,
Yeah.
But also, shout out to Real Time Audio.
Oh yeah, Real Time Audio mixed our shit.
He makes, So.
Where's that at?
Eric Jelligard in
Denton.
Up in
Texas.
Denton? Okay, cool. That's awesome. Dude, Denton's getting a lot of cool little studios up there, man.
Oh, a lot. Yeah.
Dude, I mean, Delegard's got fucking. I mean, he's got a sweet SSL, like a 4000 console.
Mm-hmm.
So badass, dude. And like, so our shit got mixed. The SSL console, for those of you non-nerds out there, is like more Grammys have been recorded through that console than any other console. It is like the Rolls Royce of recording and mixing music.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to get real nerdy here for a minute. So I heard you talk about MediaTek earlier.
Yeah.
Did you go through their program, obviously, over there, or were you just teaching there?
I missed two.
MediaTek is a audio engineering school / studio.
I was working there while I was going there.
Yeah. So I went through the Collin County program a long time ago.
Quad C?
Yeah, Quad C.
Oh,
yeah.
shit,
Before they were
man.
Collin College, you know.
They were Collin County Community College.
Yeah,
Quad C.
Quad C. And
Did you have a Brad? Did you have a? What was his last name?
I don't remember a Brad. The instructor I remember the most was a guy named James DeMaine.
James DeMaine is
DeMaine.
God's gift to music. He was in the Gap band. He was in like a bunch of fucking badass bands.
I never heard any of his bands. All I remember him
What?
talking about is he did the sound effects for Transformers, I think.
Dude,
He was very...
He looked like a guy who would make. He looks like the kind of guy who like made like the RoboCop like sound effects and like a Prince record. Like
he was super cool, very
just
knowledgeable.
badass motherfucker.
He was a great teacher.
I love that
Yeah,
dude. James DeMaine, I love him.
I remember him being just super, super nice. And but yeah, so I think that was like his first... like we were his first class at Quad C, I believe.
Oh shit.
He was a real nice guy. But
Brad Cox, that's what I was thinking
Cox.
of. He ended up moving to Quad C, but he taught like.
was he like a skinny white guy with like a ponytail?
He taught sound for film. If he had a ponytail, I'd be very
I don't think
upset
that's him
about
then.
this.
Never mind. No. This was like a very like. Anyway,
That's not the Brad Cox I know.
Yeah, I was about to say something insulting. I didn't want to say that, but anyway,
he looked like an extra from what was it? Home Improvement.
okay. Yeah. Well, those boards though. I want to talk about those boards, mixing boards,
Yeah, consoles.
man. They sound. The old ones sound so good,
Yeah,
right? And it's like guitars, boards, amps. Everybody wants vintage because it sounds good, right? And you can't put your finger on what it is. It's like at some point, is there going to be somebody down there along the line who starts like, what were the metal? What was the wire? What type of metal composition were these made out of to be able to get those sounds? Like what do you think is making it sound so well?
Neve would probably be like a good answer to that because like Neve consoles.
Because eventually these are going to be gone.
So when I first went to MediaTek, they had a Neve console in 8085, and if you ever opened up the back of a Neve, I believe they said there was 3 miles of wire in it because it was all point to point contact. There were no machined. There's no machine circuitry. It was all man made and Class A circuitry too. So the difference between Class A and Class B. So like sometimes like a lot of modern shit that you'd get is Class A B. And so if you can imagine a line in the middle, and you can imagine like a sound wave going up and down, up above this line and down this line. Now, Class A, B circuitry, you have 2 different transistors that handle the up part and then the down part. But Class A circuitry, which is very difficult to do, is that it's one solid wave motion, right? So that's kind of like the difference between a really good console and a really, maybe not shitty, but
Just not as good.
Yeah, not as good.
Yeah, but do you think people are building new ones that are?
Oh, for sure. People are always doing this stuff, just constantly. I mean, we've bumped into people like, well, that like build their own microphones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you can even actually you can make a really good sub microphone out of a speaker because you can reverse the polarity on the speaker and make a speaker and a microphone are basically the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
A speaker and a dynamic microphone, totally the same thing. And so like you can do all kinds of stuff, but just the ingenuity, like the application is really like where it like means the most, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So because it doesn't matter how badass your gear is, but like how good's that song you're recording? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
You get to a point where it's like just like things are supposed to sound like how they're supposed to sound.
That's a good point. Do you think anybody will ever look back on the 2000s, 2010s and be like, man, if only we had that 2010 guitar with the equipment, if somebody's going to be like, oh man, I wish I had that Rode podcasting board that he used. Those things are crazy, man.
I mean, that's not crazy to think about because like things come in and out of. So for instance, like it used to be like in the early 90s, like prior to like the 90s, you could really hear where drums were recorded.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on a recording, you're like, oh, those are done in England, or those are done in LA, or those are done in New York, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like you could really hear it. And then since then, like there's been like sort of like a blend. And then then you have like people who kind of like waver off into like the different shit, you know? So it's like, yeah, I mean, like it would be more awesome if you could like hear where something was like done, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think about that a lot. Like you were talking about making microphones. You know, the copper microphone that's made here by the guys from oh my gosh, what's his name? I think it's Mark Piro from Tripping Daisy. You know, it's that copper microphone.
That's a great fucking band, by the way.
Yeah.
They just played
They
a fucking
just
couple,
played.
Kessler.
Couple
Yeah.
Days ago.
I think that's why they're on my mind. But he made a.
We're from Denton, dude. Like Tripping
Yeah.
Daisy, like used to play the fucking Fry Street Fair, dude. Like
That's
that
so
was
awesome.
a fucking rad band, dude.
I was trying to get the guy who makes these microphones on the show before the pandemic, and the pandemic hit, and it got all scrambled. But I'm gonna try to get him back on. I believe it's Mark who is the guitar player, right? I'm not sure. I have to look it up again. But anyway, the microphone's that one that makes you sound like you're talking through a phone.
Oh
You
yeah,
know what I'm talking about,
mean,
the copper
yeah,
one. And I love the idea of, instead of like, making it happen in post, like recording it with the thing. And so to talk to your point about drums, it's like
That's 100% true.
yeah, it's like I know you can create the room with all these plugins, all these effects we have, but also there's something cool about like Led
we're
Zeppelin.
already right here.
Yeah, it's like there's something cool like when
Do it
Led
right
Zeppelin
now.
threw some microphones at the top of this giant ceiling and
Yeah.
got like there is just a little bit of difference there, and
Yeah.
you may never really be able to hear it, but man, you just feel it.
So
And I know that
authentic.
sounds so like you just feel it, man, but you really do. There's something about like just try to record it that way. If
So
you
a lot
can.
of punk bands back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
if you listen through to like the Misfits or Black Flag or like Dead Kennedys, I mean like a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the punk bands back in the day, you'll notice that there's Agent Orange, that there's like re-recordings where they're like, oh, that one wasn't as good because blah 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 blah, right? And then like so they try to reproduce it. When they reproduce it,
it's never quite the same.
Never is good.
Yeah, it's like as cheesy as it sounds, it's like there's something even about the air in those rooms.
Yeah, it's authentic.
The way it comes through a
It's
microphone.
the fucking energy is
It's
what it is. It's the
authentic.
motherfuckers
It's
that were there.
authentic, you know? It's
Shit,
like-
we got a different drum now.
And you can
No, he's
never-
way better. You know what I mean? But like,
No,
yeah,
but
it's
you can
just,
never do that.
Well, why
in
does
that
it
same
sound as
moment,
good?
At
You
that
know,
same
like,
time, like this is it. Like
it's exactly
here's the
that.
time. Now's when we're doing it. Let's fucking go. Like,
Exactly.
it has to
Yeah.
be that way. It has to. You know, you have to demand that too. Like you can't just like sit around and wait for it. Like you have to fucking grab it and just fucking do it. You know. And
Mm-hmm.
some people find that a little like it rubs you the whatever, but you gotta fucking do it. Eh?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I totally get it.
We can't.
That's the only thing I kind of get snobby about with recording is I want, again, another reason I shouldn't like your record that much because I like when things are
Grungy.
not necessarily
Dirty?
that. I don't know. You just you want things to be recorded in a way that are just kind of like true, right? Like if you were in this room, I wanted to sound like that room. Like
oh
it's
yeah,
like-
our band is
Yeah.
never going to sound like the
No,
band
of course not. Of course not.
But
And the
also
record
we-
doesn't. It sounds good exactly the way it is. I'm not dodging, but
Yeah.
but that's what's surprising is it's
That's what
normally
we
I'm
did.
kind of a snob.
We recorded that in a space that's smaller than the space
Oh,
that
for
we
sure.
are in right now.
Yeah. Well,
You know what I'm saying?
And you had to
Like,
do it
we
all
didn't-
separately. Like, it's not like the
No.
whole band could play together.
I mean, parts of us can
Yeah,
and parts of us can't, you know, but yeah. But
At no point in time did we play together on this.
No.
Zero.
Of course not.
I don't even know him.
So, all right, let's flip the tables.
All right.
Where's the closest place to get kamikazes and beers to here?
You're in Deep Ellum. Anywhere you want to go down here, man. just walk left or right. You're gonna run into
Also,
something.
hey, listen, but for
When I
real,
said
like,
let's flip the tables, let's literally flip.
Don't flip this table.
but we do have Party With Us. It's an album. It's coming out. It's 16 songs.
At this point, the album is out now, and by the time this
yes.
episode's released, this album is out.
That is absolutely
Of course, you can go stream it, but I would encourage you to go buy a vinyl in addition to streaming it. Stream it for free all you want after you purchase the vinyl.
And shout out to Grimace Records. Like, thank you guys so much.
Yeah,
for
they like really believed in
appreciating
They're
us.
down in Austin, I believe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
That's
and
correct.
they really believed in us, and John
And they're-
Hale and Sophie and like all them, like they're just amazing
thank
people,
you.
and they like
we
they
have,
took a chance on us, and we. I'll be honest with you, like they have a lot of hardcore bands, and we always. It's weird for us because like it used to be we didn't get accepted by anybody when we first fucking started playing. Like they'd like book us the punk bands, and the punk bands like you're not a punk band, you have horns, and then like they'd book us the ska bands, and they're like you're not a ska band, you're a punk band, you know. And so like it was like fucking like we're like just like a man without a country, you know. It was like it was like that, and like. All the bands like on there like accept us, like they're like just cool.
But you know what? That's a great zone to be in, where you don't fit in with
It
another
really
band.
is.
Dude, yeah, but
It's
it
a
really
great
is.
spot because when you get on a stage, you don't sound like anything else.
No,
But
for
you know what,
sure.
too? It, like, it,
But
like
that's what I'm
tells you
saying
who
is
your
like
friends
the
are, too.
motherfuckers, the other bands on this label like totally accept us, even though they
Yeah.
know that we don't sound like them. You know, so it's like really
Yeah.
cool. A lot of hardcore bands, and like we do some hardcore shit, but
Y'all have a mix of a ton of different styles on there. That's like
we're a Texas band.
that's a great way to put it.
We mix Tejano, we mix country. There's country on the record.
There is, yeah.
We mix. I mean, like,
And the country, I know what you're talking about. The country lead guitar lick is over a ska rhythm.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just- you're
Yeah,
blending it all, man.
So that,
Yeah,
so then you got
it's
the
super
fucking
fun.
Gulf Coast, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
You got all that shit, you know. You even got the polka shit from the Germans that were brought here. There's stuff like there's all kinds of stuff.
All over
Like,
the map.
I'm excited. I think I'm going to try to. If I read it correctly, you guys are playing up in Denton at Rubber Gloves soon, right? In September, I think.
Nice.
September 24th.
Yeah, I'm going to try to make that show. I think
Good,
that'd be
because
fun.
we're
I
gonna
haven't
be
been to
headlining and we're gonna be fucking that place up.
Well, I haven't
dude.
been to Rubber Gloves in a long time. I know it
man.
changes hands all the time.
my
It's
gosh,
always
no.
morphing.
No.
and
Rubber Gloves
tell
is
you.
is like seriously, as far as Denton goes, the 100% best fucking venue
Yeah.
to
Best
play at. Like
venue.
just also, and I'm not just saying that because I live 200 yards away from it. But
No, but really, like-
No, I've been there multiple times. It's great. It's great.
Chad does a
Everybody
bang
takes
up
good care of
job.
you.
Everyone does
yeah,
great.
yeah,
Like,
Chad does
Chad
a great
Witherspoon,
job.
like I always say this and I will say it again. We get on the main stages to accept any kind of award. We will
Oh yeah,
always
for sure,
think
dude. Rubber Gloves.
Rubber Gloves and Chad Witherspoon
That's
because he
awesome.
is a fucking amazing human being, dude.
Do you know who I'd like to thank?
Who?
Everybody that ever stood in our way, or made us feel less than, or made us feel like that we weren't accepted, or made us feel like that we weren't a part of it, or made us feel like that we had to work harder, or made us feel like, we didn't belong. I want to thank those people because without them, we wouldn't be here right where we are now.
There it is.
Woo! Woo!
Party with us.
Party with us!
Hey, thank y'all so much for coming on here, man.
Thank you for
I
having us,
appreciate it.
motherfucker. Let's go do some shots. Woo!
Yeah.
I'm going to say it right now.
Roll credits.
I think this will probably be my favorite record of the year
Oh,
that's
dude,
released.
fuck.
I really do.
Party with us.
It is.
Thank
it
you
is
so
the
much.
most complete
Thank you
record
so
that I've
much.
heard this year
Produced
so far.
by Robert Hokamp.
It's
written
fantastic.
by
It's a concept
Richard
record.
I
Haskins,
wrote my
and-
ass off, dude.
Listen to
Yeah.
it front to back. Don't just pick a song. Just
fucking
put the
amazing.
vinyl on and let it go.
Listen
Oh
to
my
it like
God.
you lick somebody.
Shred
front
season.
to back.
Seriously, thank you guys so much.
Love you, brother.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
The I'm a Fan of podcast, music, comedy, and more.